So this is the first of our series of podcasts where we unpick our food journey here at the university. Today we're going to focus on our meal plans and answer basically the hows and the whys when it comes to food choices here at the University of Reading. So if you're new to Reading, if you're about to start, or you're already here and you want to find out more about what we've got to offer with the meal plans, then I'm delighted to say that I have 3 guests on the podcast today, and I'm going to let you introduce yourselves. So I'll start with you, Matt.
My name's Matt. I'm the Director of Dining.
And my name's Colleen, and I'm the Executive Head Chef of the University of Reading.
And my name's Kathy, and I am the Clever Cuisine Manager.
We're going to start by talking about Clever Cuisine and what it is. And Matt, I think you're the perfect person to start this conversation. So what is Clever Cuisine?
Clever Cuisine's a meal plan system. So it gives you prepaid meals to either 3, 7 or 21 a week.
And where did the inspiration, very briefly, because I know this is a sort of open-ended question, but where did the inspiration come from to have this approach at the University of Reading?
The university is really passionate about food and drink and looking after our students. So it was very much about putting students at the heart of what we do as a university, including feeding people well so they perform well in the classroom and attain the absolute best results possible.
And I guess the question that everybody will want the answer to is, what makes it different and why does it work so well for you as a student coming to the university?
Most universities in the UK operate Eat Where You Live, so you have a traditional hall of residence with the dining room underneath, which you might get typically 19 meals a week. And if you miss the meal time, that's sort of your problem. Here at Reading, we do it a bit differently, and you have freedom to eat in a variety of different outlets. And you can choose when you take that meal using our meal swipe system. And the meal swipe equals 1 meal. And those are what form the backbone of our meal plans.
And I guess at this point as well, I just wanted to ask about the wider university. I know we touched on it there, but how we kind of work as a whole with our food, with our farm, with all the science that we mentioned that goes on, is the ethos of Clever Cuisine is really part of that wider university ethos as well.
Yes, the university has its own farms, so we have 4 farms currently. We're very unusual where we have food coming from our own farms. So at the moment we have beef and pork coming from the farms. We also study food really broadly. So we've got food sciences, nutritional sciences, through to agriculture, soil science, environmental science, climate. So we are in many ways experts on food, and we want our menus to reflect the fact that we're one of the leading institutions globally for food.
And food, very much the theme of this pod, and I know that's what people want us to talk about. So Carleen, I'm going to bring you in as our executive chef. It's so difficult, I think, to sort of describe what is on offer until people see it and taste it. But I'm going to ask you to do that. What types of food can you expect if you're a student coming to the university?
I think we offer a broad selection. Obviously, a lot of our residential dinings are one swipe entry, so you can go in and you can experience anything from all cultures to all varieties. We are very plant forward in our menus, and what we mean by that is we're not trying to remove something out of your diet. We're just trying to enhance your nutrition base in the diets. But you can have Indian from your curries to your Vietnamese to American to British, so it's very, very varied and vast.
And we should say as well, it's sort of breakfast, lunch and dinner. You're able to kind of experience that cuisine from around the world. It's not just at any particular day or given time. We're always trying to keep it varied.
Yeah, I mean, you can go in any outlet and eat at any point of the day, whether it be a plated from one of our bars to, whether it's a pay on entry and you can fill your boots with, plate full of salads or ramen bowls or so forth. So I think we kind of cater for most palates and dietaries.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned dietaries because I think probably one of the questions that certainly I think, Kathy, you'd probably get asked the most is about diet and allergens. And I've got these certain types of dietary requirements, but that's something that we think about a lot.
It is really difficult to manage such a large food base and allergen dietary requirements. But I think you can go into any of our outlets, and with the technology that we use as well to try and help the customers answer the questions themselves as well as training the staff. When it comes to menu planning, I think it's at the forefront of trying to cater for as much of those needs as possible. Obviously, it has its own challenges, but I think it's at the forefront in the planning. Whether it be using our QR codes to figure out, your special needs of dietaries, are we able to fit it, or speak to a member of our staff?
We've also improved that as well, Matt, haven't we, in terms of how accessible that information is and how easy it is to get that with our new net menu systems.
The university's invested around $1 million into trying to make menus more accessible. So you can go online now and you can see today's menu at each outlet, breakfast, lunch and dinner. You can drill down and say, I want to avoid these allergens, or I would like a diet that meets vegan standard or halal or vegetarian, and it basically lets you filter and start to create a shopping basket, and you can then look at the nutrition as well, and you can look at every single ingredient of every single dish. So we're completely transparent in what we're providing in terms of what's in your food.
And as it is one of those questions that we get asked a lot, I think that's the thing that we want to come across here is that, I mean, Kathy, you really manage the team that's at the forefront of all those questions. You can go and speak to a member of staff and ask questions, and we will support you through that journey if you've got those special dietary requirements.
Absolutely. My office is on the shop floor, so my door is always open. I'm supported by permanent and student members of staff as well. We encourage everybody to come and see us at Parky at the concierge desk if they've got any worries or concerns about diet, or if they want to raise any dietary requirements or allergens that they want to look at, and we will help them navigate the system.
And one of the other things that I wanted to talk about was the menus, because it's fascinating when I joined here to see how much variety of food is available across so many dining halls, and how those menus are put together for sort of lunch and dinner. Tell us a little bit about the process that goes into that and how they're prepared.
It's really difficult to plan a right menu for anywhere. But I think the way I start from is I go from a visual. We always eat with our eyes first, right? So I look at our counters. So when I plan a menu for a particular site, I look at a counter and I go from a visual point of view and flavour profile and make sure we try and cover as much balance as possible. For instance, in the outlet that we're at the moment, the first counter you're approached to is a big vegetable bar, which is full of colour and crunches and textures, and then you want to move to another counter, and whether that would be a Pan-Asian style and so forth. It's a case of making sure we've got enough variety. One of our faults that we've had in the past is trying to put too much. So we've tried to just focus on the quality of each of the dishes and try and get them as authentic as possible. Everything we do is we cook from scratch where possible, and we focus on where we've sourced all our ingredients and our products from.
And that food sourcing is another question that is starting to become, I think, more important to people, and that's the right thing to say. And it's something that we consider a lot, Matt, isn't it? Local ingredients, local bakers, or whether it's from the farm, it is important to us.
Yep, absolutely. I'd say our focus is sourcing as much locally and regionally. So probably the south of England, good region in terms of food, and there's lots of variety and choice. Like today we were looking at UK chilies, for example. So it's about creating exciting menus, taking the very best of our part of the world and combining those into amazing and seasonal dishes.
And Carleen, you've talked quite a lot to me over the last few months about how there are some areas that you still want to change, and you still want us to have our own bakery and do things that in the future as well, that we're always looking at where can we improve, what things can we do better.
Yeah, I think as chefs anyway, it's something that we never know everything about food. It's something that we've got to continue to educate ourselves on. The world is continually changing, whether it be us finding new ways of using grains within our baking, or use how to utilise more of what vegetable we're having. So whether it would be where stalks used to be thrown away in the past, now we're utilising those in all of our recipes. I think it's a case of we don't know everything about food. We've got to keep continuing educating ourselves. And I think as a university, having the resources that we have on campus with the research that they do, I think that's a benefit for us.
We talked a lot about the what Clever Cuisine is, what food we offer, how we put the menus together. But Matt, talk us a little bit through a little bit about the venues, because we've also put a lot of effort into ensuring that wherever you are around the campus and whatever time of day, there's somewhere that you can go and have the food that you like.
So we have Park Eat and St Pat's. Probably the first two, they operate 21 meals a week. So that's breakfast, lunch, dinner, Monday to Sunday. Those two are then complemented with Eat at Square, which does 19 meals a week. And that's more in the central campus, so it skips Saturday and Sunday morning. And then we also have Wantage, which operates Monday to Friday, breakfast, lunch and dinner at our Wantage Halls of Residence. And then we also have the dairy at our London Road site, and that operates it operates as a pub, which is accessible to our Clever Cuisine students. So rather than pay on entry, it is a pub style menu. So you order a dish.
Our venues are quite lively and sociable, but we do have quieter venues as well. And I think that's the joy, that because there's a variety of venues to choose from. If you are just arriving at university and you are unsure, you will always find a venue that you are happy to go and eat in. Whether you are sociable and lively or you want a quieter one, there is a venue for you to choose. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about buying a meal plan then. How can students buy a meal plan?
It's super simple. So when you're applying for halls is the easiest point. So you're applying for halls. Some of our halls include a meal plan automatically, in which case you don't need to do anything. If you're choosing a self-catered room, you get offered the board type. So 3, 7, 14 or 21 meals a week. And the university recommend all first year students take a meal plan because there's so much benefit to being on a meal plan.
And with accommodation, you touched on it there, but there are certain types of accommodation that you will get a meal plan, and on other accommodation around the university, you can choose your meal plan.
About 900 of our rooms include a mandatory unlimited meal plan. The remaining 4 and a bit thousand, you get to choose your meal plan as you go through the accommodation application process. And then if you arrive and you haven't selected a meal plan, we can also help you there. You can buy one online, or if you're in your second or third year or not in halls, you can also buy a meal plan.
No, get asked a lot about if you want to change your meal plan. I definitely think that you're the best person to ask here. You get a lot of people that maybe want to adjust it or are not quite sure about certain things as they come in and they've had their meal plans with their accommodation.
My job is to make sure all of the students are on the correct meal plan, and we would encourage all students that are either struggling or unsure or have questions in the first instance to come and see us in person or to email us and to arrange a meeting, and we can discuss exactly what their issues may be, if they have any, and if they want to upgrade, that's always a possibility.
So we've put together a list of frequently asked questions because we do get these a lot, especially around the time where students are joining the university. So let's try and cover off some of these then. How many ways are there to pay for the meal plans? I'm looking straight at you, Matt.
3. So apply with halls, buy online or buy in person.
What period do meal plans cover?
They run during term time or semester time.
This is one we do get asked quite a lot. Is Clever Cuisine independent from the university?
Clever Cuisine is part of the university. All our staff are university employees. You're buying your meal plan from the university. Clever Cuisine is just the name of the system. So there's no contractors, there's no private companies. Everything is done with the students' interests at heart.
Can students use any of the dining halls?
They can do. Wantage is for wantage students only, just for access reasons. But there is nobody on a door checking a register. You can swipe in at any of the participating dining halls. So if you don't live at St Patrick's but you have friends there, you're very welcome to visit. You have Park Eat, the square where we are now, and the dairy where meal equivalences will be used.
Can you use your meal plan in other bars and cafes around the university?
Not currently. As part of our huge upgrade to technology, we are restricted to our big dining halls at the moment.
How do we ensure food hygiene is a priority?
All of our chefs are highly trained chefs, so that's one of my biggest challenges when I first started this job, was finding the right chefs to join our kitchens. They are, all fully trained. They care about what they do, and I think that's the most important thing. Is they care about what they do, and they care about the produce that they use, which coincides with the following the full health and safety and hygiene rotas. I think we do within all of our sites work as a team. We have student workers that work for us, so it all helps.
And one I definitely heard mentioned quite a lot, especially in Parkey, is can my friends use my meal plan, Kathy?
No.
Simple answer.
Unfortunately not. I think parents would not like to think that their money is being used to support someone else's child. They've paid for a meal plan to support their own child. However, guest meals are available on several of our meal plans. So your guests can come if you have guest meals on your meal plan. But the meal plan is for you and your use.
We didn't talk about the actual process of getting the food. The next question that we get asked a lot is, can I have as much food as I like? It is a buffet style in all the venues. So you get a plate on entry once you've scanned in, and you can go up and help yourself.
Correct. When the system was first introduced a couple of years ago, I have to say I was quite skeptical that the vegan dishes would go. But I think because students know that there are foods that they're unfamiliar with, they're more likely to try them, because if they don't like them, they're not going to go hungry. They can go up and get something that is familiar with them, whether it be the moussaka, lasagna, curry. But it does mean that they're more likely to try foods that they may not.
And this one, and we're going to end with this one, I think, unless we've forgotten anything, but is all the food healthy? And I was actually asked that at one of our open days.
I think that's down to perception, really, isn't it? I think, we try our best to put as much nutrition into our foods, but is all our food healthy? I couldn't say 100% all of our food is healthy, no, because we all need to have that bit of indulgence in our lives, don't we? But I think we try our best.
It's a well-balanced diet.
It's a well-balanced, it's all about, you have to have a bit of cake now and again, don't you? There is on campus places where you can find a bowl of chips if that's what you're craving. But in our main outlets, there's a whole balance of foods, whether it be katsu curry we might have fish and chips on a Friday occasionally, or a Sunday roast on a Sunday. It's about balance.
I think it actually takes us probably all the way back to the beginning when we asked what Clever Cuisine was. It is a meal plan system where you know that if you're on it, you will have access to every bit of food that you need through a 7-day period, a month period. You will be having a well-balanced diet, and that does include treat days.
Yeah, exactly. I think so.
And one thing we actually haven't mentioned, which I think's a good point to mention, is logistically as well. We're always thinking about the students and how to improve their experience. We don't claim that this is fine dining, Michelin star, but we do want it to work for students. We do want it to be as easy as possible to come in and get your plates, get your food, and even clearing up. We've tried to improve all those processes.
In terms of like student feedback, we use an independent organisation that survey our students. So we're not setting the questions; they set the questions, and it's used across lots of other universities. We can see how we're doing on lots of different metrics. So, for example, how tasty is the food? How fresh is the food? and we can compare ourselves to other universities, so we have a good idea of where we're going. And we go further, I think, in terms of we also have things like the Sustainable Restaurant Association, who independently verify, say, all our sustainability claims. We've got, in terms of hygiene, we have a hygiene supervisor who's from outside of catering but still within the university, who's also looking in. So we try and have all these systems and procedures in place to make sure we're delivering the very best to our students, so the very best value for money.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. I hope that it helps when you're making your way to university and choosing your meal plan. And as we've mentioned many times throughout the podcast, you can get in touch with us. You can come and speak to us. We're here to answer your questions. And we will be back with another episode of our podcast next time. Thank you very much to all my guests.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.